Bonjour, salut, how's it going? Hello. And welcome. My name is Jacob Collier. You're watching France 24's Daily Culture Show, and I will be being interviewed by Yves Jackson in just 1 second.
He's been dubbed jazz's new messiah and compared to Mozart and Prince. The North London prodigy started with YouTube video covers of Stevie Wonder songs when he was 17. He's now managed by Quincy Jones, the man who produced the best-selling album of all time, Thriller.
Some people live.
During confinement, he's been performing from his home and singing duets with the likes of Jojo, Dodie and Daniel Caesar.
Won't you give yourself to me? Give it all.
He's also using the time to work on his latest project, Djesse, a 4-volume, 50-song album that he's already won 2 Grammys for. Jacob Collier, hello.
Hello indeed, how are you?
I'm well, how are you? You're supposed to be on a huge international tour. How's it going in lockdown?
Well, it's very surreal, and I think a lot of people are not quite sure how to deal with it, but for me there's lots of peace to be found. I'm very lucky because I've got a room full of musical instruments, so I'm sort of happy as Larry. It's basically a little treasure trove. It's like a cave, and I'm not sure if you can see any of this stuff, but there's guitars that are lining the wall back there, and over here I've got some drums, and there's a Wurlitzer over here that I saved up all my pocket money for one time, and I'm currently sitting at the piano. I'm here at the piano, and so there's all sorts of different things that make sound in this room, and I've always been fascinated with things that make sound, so I thought I'd make a little collection, and that's where I am right now. And this is the room that I've recorded, I suppose, 3 albums at this point, and I've almost finished at a 4th, and I sit in this chair, and I sit in there from about 9 a.m. to about 5 a.m. every single day.
Now, I saw you performed a 5-song set for TED Connects. Have you been making new music during the past few weeks then?
I have indeed, yeah. So I'm currently working on this quadruple album. I've been working on it for about 2 years now. It's one massive project, about 50 songs long, split into 4 different records, so 4 albums. And each album is like a different musical universe, a different sound world, different genres, different kinds of collaborators. And I'm I'm bravely voyaging into these unknown musical spaces. And so the first one, which is called Djesse Volume 1, is orchestral music. And when I say orchestral, I don't necessarily mean classical. I sort of mean extravagantly large, which is what orchestras really are. And then Djesse Volume 2, which is the second one, is much more acoustic. It's just, I suppose it sounds a bit like this room, kind of like a small space, lots of strummy guitars and piano things and little small percussive elements and lots of vocals and stuff like that. And then Djesse Volume 3, which is the third of the 4th, which is the one that I've almost finished, is this kind of negative space, electronic, digital, wonderland, crazy thing. And Djesse Volume 4 is the sort of culmination of all these flavours. And the plan was to go and tour Djesse Volume 3 on this tour that I was supposed to be on right now. But seeing as the tour has been postponed, thought I may as well give the album a bit more time. So I'm kind of sitting on it and I'm making it just exactly right and the way that I'm happy with it the most before it gets launched into the almighty world.
And a few weeks ago, you actually released In My Bones. Let's take a listen to that.
There's a funky feeling in my bones, in my bones, in my bones. I got that funky feeling. I don't wanna feel it on my own, what I do.
That video has already got hundreds of thousands of views. Online and social media has always worked amazingly for you, Jacob. Some of your videos have actually got millions of views already. And it's not just really well prepared and produced videos. Sometimes it's just a video like this. Or it could even be a video of you explaining musical theory that I saw on your YouTube channel that has got over, I think, 1.5 million views. How do you explain that success?
Nowadays, I suppose it's incredible space for artists to be creative because really all you need is a good idea. For me, what I realized quite early on is that if I'm fascinated by what I'm doing and if I'm learning from it, if I'm learning about myself from it, then theoretically other people could be learning as well. And so whether it's me explaining things or me creating things or making videos or producing albums or going on tour, they're all kind of different kind of strings to the Jacob bow, I suppose. And I love stretching myself. I love trying new stuff out. And I released one album, but the first time I released was called In My Room, which was recorded literally entirely in this exact room. And that album won 2 Grammy Awards, which was extremely unprecedented and very, very strange. And I still can't quite believe it. But it was an amazing feeling because I think that it was almost like a dawn of a new era that we're kind of living in now. Where people from home, in their bedrooms, so to speak, can think up these ideas and join these kinds of musical genres and flavors together in ways that have never really been attempted or even possible before. And that kind of dialogue between artist and fan can be super intimate. And so I almost feel like I'm kind of cooking up a massive family that people are welcome to join.
And Jacob, you made that album In My Room when you were 21 in 2016, and the first person I think to listen to it was your manager, Quincy Jones. What was that like?
It's crazy. I met Quincy Jones about 5 years ago now. And if you don't know who Quincy Jones is, then I don't know what you've been doing with your time. But I would highly endorse the behavior of checking out Quincy Jones. He's kind of like the greatest living musical force, many could argue. You can only imagine the kind of surreal emotions that I experienced on receiving an email in my inbox from this great man. And so, we talked about music kind of in this goofy, kind of geeky way, which is wonderful. That someone, who's now 87 years old can be like as childlike and as curious as someone like me. I think I really saw the kind of, eternal child spirit in this man, who has since opened numerous doors in my career, from, offering me my first ever gig with my one-man looping show, which is at the Montreux Jazz Festival in Switzerland, to introducing me to musical luminaries like Mr. Herbie Hancock, for example, and we're now good friends. And Quincy's always been this incredible kind of godfather to me, and in my journey of creating the things that I've always wanted to create on my own terms.
Now you're in lockdown in the UK, but your year actually started off pretty well. You won 2 Grammy Awards at the start of the year for your arrangements of All Night Long and Moon River. Let's just take a listen to All Night Long.
All night long, all night, all night, all night long, all night long, all night.
So you won a Grammy for All Night Long, which is off your new project, off Volume 1. It's going to be 4 volumes in the end. I wanted to ask you, what happens after you produce your magnum opus in your 20s?
Well, I suppose all I'm trying to do right now is just to be as expansive as possible. I'd like to make a project, and that's why I'm doing it, I suppose, that I can walk away from, that I feel represents all of my tastes in the entirety of the universe of sound, which is quite a big task. But I've always been such a musical sponge that almost felt like one album wasn't quite enough to do that with. As the albums continue to grow and be created, I think the thing I'm interested in is bridging these gaps. And as far as after that's concerned, I sort of feel like I've never really been more creative than I feel right now, especially in lockdown, weirdly enough. And I think that after this quadruple album is finished, I sort of feel like there are all these different avenues that I may want to explore, but I think I'll save that decision for when I'm standing at the crossroads.
You've been doing so many amazing collaborations in lockdown with the likes of Jojo and Dodie, but just in general with like Herbie Hancock, who you mentioned earlier, Chris Martin, Hans Zimmer. They all say the most incredible things about you. For example, Hans Zimmer said you're one of the very, very small handful of truly great artists in the world today. Chris Martin said hanging out with you is like hanging out with Mozart or Prince. What's that like?
It's lovely, but I think I know more than anybody else how much I have to learn. And one thing I'm realizing increasingly is that the more I learn, and I learn sort of obsessively, I love it. I drink in as much as I can from all these different places. That it's just the more you learn, the more you realize that you don't know. And I think that my job as a human really is to consistently be able to zoom in and out of that process. So, it's nice to feel like I'm learning something, and that's something I'm learning, and that communication has value in the world. It's really cool. And, to meet Chris, who's just such a treasure, such a dear soul, and Hans Zimmer, who's such a maverick and such a weirdo, really. And all these people have all done their own methods of learning and have all reached people in different ways, but everyone's just a human being. That's so clear to me.
Okay, Jacob, thank you so much. I just wanted to ask you, when can we expect then the next album, Djesse Volume 3?
Well, funny you should ask. I'm finishing it this evening after this interview.
Wow.
And Yeah, I hope that it will be out sometime in the next few months. But there's a song coming very very soon from the album. There'll be a series of singles released from Djesse Volume 3. Djesse spelled Djesse if you're interested. And so yeah, that will be coming very soon. And Djesse Volume 4 will probably come next year. And hopefully we'll be back on the road with a bang. And you can come and see a show. That'll be awesome.
I was wondering, would you play us out, please?
Yeah, I'd love to, sure. So there's a song that I love by Bill Withers, who sadly recently passed away. A really, really great man, very grounded songwriter, incredible man, really. And this is a song called Lean on Me.
Sometimes in our life, we all have pain. We all have sorrow. Oh, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when one are strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Everybody needs somebody to lean on. Everybody needs somebody.